Welcome, everyone. My name is Barb Headrick. I'm with the League of Women Voters of the Red River Valley, and we welcome you to the first candidate forum this evening with Cass County Commission candidates. This forum is being streamed live and also recorded for playback on the City of Fargo's government PEG TV channel, TV 56. This recording will also be posted on the League of Women Voters Red River Valley Facebook page and YouTube page. The League of Women Voters is a nonpartisan political organization which encourages informed and active participation in government, works to increase understanding of major policy issues, and influences public policy through education and advocacy. If you'd like to learn more about the League, please visit our website, or find us on Facebook, or talk to one of the volunteers here tonight. The League of Women Voters sponsors these candidate forums to provide the public with an opportunity to hear candidates discuss the issues that are important to members of the public. As a nonpartisan organization, the League does not support or oppose any political party or candidate. The views expressed in each forum are those of the candidates, not those of the League of Women Voters. And when we post the unedited recordings of these forums, editing is only authorized for official media reporting. No excerpts or edited clips of candidate forums may be used for partisan or political purposes. We thank the City of Fargo for providing the lovely City Commission chambers, and for the City of Fargo employee who is doing the recording tonight and handling the microphones as well. With our two candidates that we have with us tonight, we will allow each of them a 1 minute opening statement. Then we'll start asking questions submitted by the public and audience, by the audience members here, and also allowing each of them to answer those questions for 1 minute. And then we will close when our time runs down for a 1 minute closing statement. There will be a buzzer when the time runs out, but simply complete your thought. Don't worry about too much about going over just a little bit. One candidate who could not be here, Tony Grinberg, did submit a statement, and we allow those candidates who cannot attend to do so. And I will now read the statement before we begin our questioning. I am Tony Grinberg. I am running for the Cass County Commission seat currently held by Rick Steen. Rick's decision to not run for re-election and his encouragement, along with other local leaders, led me to believe my 22 years of state Senate experience combined with Fargo Commission experience would strengthen the County Commission for the future. My focus as County Commissioner would include support for economic and workforce growth strategies to grow Cass County, investing in our public safety protection for all residents, collaboration with state government and legislature, transportation/infrastructure, strong fiscal management of Cass County resources, 9/11 Emergency Dispatch Center, Red River Valley Water Supply Project. Thank you. So now we will start with the candidates with opening statements. Dwayne Breitling, you may go first.
Thank you. Good evening, and thank you for allowing this opportunity for us to visit. Mary Jane and I moved to West Fargo, which is basically District 4 in Cass County, in early 1967. We've been there ever since, and have actually, in our home we relocated in 1969. We have 4 adult children. 2 live in West Fargo, and 2 are in the South Bay area in California, 1 in Fremont and 1 in Los Gatos, just north of San Jose. We had the opportunity, Mary Jane and I, to celebrate our 60th wedding anniversary this past September 1. I think that speaks to our commitment to longevity and to the community. I have no more to welcome you on.
Thank you. Ben Hansen.
Thank you. Thanks to Barb and everyone who came out here tonight, and thanks to the League of Women Voters for allowing us this time to speak with our potential constituents about what we would be doing here on the Cass County Commission. My name is Ben Hansen. I am a former state legislator here representing Fargo and West Fargo. About 10 years ago, I was elected to the state legislature. I grew up here in Fargo, was born and raised. I have some work experience both in sales and on the project management side at Microsoft and BNSF, and for a while I spent time in the commercial real estate industry. I now work for a nonprofit, and in addition to these things, I have spent some time on volunteer boards such as the Government Relations Committee for the Fargo-Moorhead Area Realtors, and as the president of the Fargo-Moorhead Commercial Realtors Association. All of those things in my experience, plus the encouragement of some of my former legislative colleagues to run for this position, once current chair Rick Steen decided that he was going to retire from the county commission this year, encouraged me to run. So I'm looking forward to answering everybody's questions here tonight.
And we alternate who goes first as we go along. So Ben, you get the first question.
Sounds good.
What are your qualifications that make you a better candidate, and what made you decide to run for county commission?
Thanks. Well, I sort of just got into that, but I believe that my time spent in the state legislature has allowed me to kind of see both how the sausage is made as far as the state budget goes, and to form relationships with the kind of people that I believe the county commission should be working with and lobbying to achieve better policies for us here in the southeastern part of the state. I like to think I bring a good work ethic and a thoughtful approach to public policy, and that I'm a person that likes to study the minute details in things like county budgets, like water boards, and I think I could put that to use for constituents here in Cass County.
Thank you. Dwayne?
Pardon me?
Your turn, Dwayne.
The question?
Yes. What are your qualifications, and why did you decide to run?
My background is in the legal business. I'm a graduate of the University of North Dakota School of Law in 1965. I practiced law with the firm of Onstead Twitchell in West Fargo for 40-some years. During that time period, I personally represented several water resource boards throughout the eastern part of the state, and developed a substantial interest in county government because those water resource boards are creatures of the counties. The reason that I sought the office initially was that I thought that I could bring to the table, particularly with the diversion authority problems with land acquisition, a measure of experience that others might not have. Thank you.
Thank you. Dwayne, you get to start with the next question. What are the top concerns you have that you want to solve as county commissioner? Sort of builds on what you were just talking about.
There are three areas of principal concern. One of these is public safety. That's probably number one on my list. Number two would be education. And number three would be the appropriate and responsible utilization of public funds in the budgeting process. The third item I would cover more quickly right now, and that's the utilization of these of the CARES and ARPA funds that have been directly appropriated by Congress to the county. We've insisted that these be utilized only on one-time projects, which would eliminate the ability to sell bonds and pay for projects that would otherwise increase our tax load. One of these that should be of importance to the League of Women Voters is the 911 facility that we presently manage. And that's a concept that is managed by both Cass and Clay County, Moorhead, Fargo, and West Fargo. There will be substantial monies attributed to a new facility for that entity in the near term.
Thank you. Ben?
And that was the top three priorities, correct?
Just says top concerns. You can be three
Sure.
or more.
Sounds
You can get
good.
into a minute.
Sure. My top concern would be the same concern that is happening to the rest of the state of North Dakota, which is workforce. We have a dearth of workers for many, many job openings. If you talk to the Fargo-Moorhead Economic Development Corporation, they will be quick to tell you that we have over 4,000 jobs in the Cass and Clay County areas that pay over $70,000 a year, which is a very decent amount of money. So we need to ask ourselves why we're not being able to get the workforce to fill in those roles. One of the things I could see as a potential solution is a continued support of the trade school initiative that the Cass County Commission has seen fit to support, that I was partially involved with lobbying for funds with the Home Builders Association back when I was sitting on the public affairs board there, had a small hand in. And I think it's encouraging to get some of our young people coming up in our workforce to both stay here and consider a career in the trades, because not everyone is going to have a 4-year liberal arts degree career track post high school. Oh, I guess I had 2 others, or at least more, but that's my time.
Maybe they'll come up in another question. Ben, we start with you. How can the Cass County Commission address the child care crisis in the area?
That's an excellent question. We are almost 2 to 1 right now in waiting lists versus available areas. Right now, the average child care worker in our area is getting somewhere between $11 to $13 an hour. If you drive up and down 45th Street, you can see shift manager positions at Chipotle and Qdoba that start at $17, $18, and $19 an hour. You can do the math and you can see where that goes. Cass County isn't going to be able to do anything to address child care alone. It's going to have to work with the state legislature. It's going to have to work with both, I would assume, at least the cities of Fargo and West Fargo. And it needs to work with the school districts, including our rural school districts like Northern Cass, that's installing a community center at their school right now as we speak. Tax credits are good, but some kind of an academy and help to professionalize the child care workforce would be helpful as well. There's not a silver bullet solution to it, but we need to be present and we need to be listening to those that provide child care services to address this.
Thank you. Dwayne?
The child care question is one that's going to be addressed dramatically at the state legislature in this upcoming session. And it's my position that we should vigorously support our local legislators in achieving a program that would be affordable for most daycare parents. It's important, to me at least, that we function through the state legislature and insist that our local legislators provide an opportunity for the care of children whose parents are necessarily employed outside the home. Thank you.
Dwayne, we start with you. This may let you get into whatever we would like here with this question. What do you think is the most neglected issue facing the Cass County Commission, and what would you do to solve this issue?
When you say neglected, by whom?
By the commission, I assume.
I don't believe the commission neglects anything of significance or importance. There are areas that need to be addressed, and one of those is job opportunities for the sheriff's department. And what we did during the course of 2022, even though it wasn't in the budget, we made a dramatic increase to the starting salaries of staff members of the sheriff's department in order to try to achieve full employment at their authorized level. In 2023, we will continue that increase so that we can provide public safety measures throughout the county. I'll elaborate on that later on because I see I'm out of time.
All right. Thank you, Ben.
As far as issues that may have been neglected by the county commission, whether accidentally or I don't know how, I know that there was an investigation into an HR or just general worker demotivation at Fargo Cass Public Health, rather, about a year ago, and I don't feel like that's been followed up on. And when they're providing as important services as they are to our community, I think it needs to be stayed on top of by the county commission, and I would intend on doing that if I was elected to it. Additionally, somewhat piggybacking off of what Commissioner Breitling has said, when we are looking at COLA, that's cost of living adjustments, we are dealing with inflation nationally between 8 and 9%, and we all know that that's sometimes higher depending on what you're talking about, what kind of goods and services you are. The County Commission has seen fit to designate a 4% increase in cost of living with a temporary 10% boost to some of the workers at the jail, because as Robert Wilson, the county administrator, has said, they are looking at other private sector companies that could be more lucrative for them. We can't afford to be, once again, penny wise and pound foolish about our 500-member workforce with the county. We have to keep them instead of trying to get new employees and train more new employees.
Starting with Ben now, what should be the top budget priority for the Cass County Commission during your term?
I still think permanent flood protection needs to be the top priority. The FM diversion has been talked to death, and correctly so. We are still a community that does not have full permanent flood protection right now, and we all know, those of us who are living here, that 2 more feet in 2009 and we would have been an island. And we are looking here to still, as much as we have talked about it, we still need to protect the hundreds of millions of dollars of personal and commercial property that is here. That is going to be a continuing project. It's going to be a continuing cost. Inflation and labor costs are going to continue to go up, and we need to be there, walking hand in hand, communicating with both the cities, the states, and the federal government, and on both sides of the river. I'm planning on being as present as possible and supportive as I can be if elected to the commission.
Thank you. Dwayne?
And now the rest of the story. I'm going to steal a line from a commentator. What people don't understand is that Cass County has for years established a policy for compensation of employees that includes annual step increases. At the bottom of the salary scale for the county employees, those step increases range from 4 to 5%. At the top end, they're more likely to be at 2% for the department heads. The reason for the differential is that the lesser compensated employees use a greater portion of their income for basic needs like travel, food, lodging, and that sort of thing. Now, when you couple that with the COLA increase that we approved for 2023, the bottom end of that scale is going to have an 8 to 9% increase in their compensation. And the top is going to approach 6% increase in their compensation. People need to know the full program.
Thank you. And now, we started with Ben, right? On the previous question? Or?
He's starting next time.
Oh,
I
okay.
went last time.
It's your turn now, Ben. Sorry.
What? No, it's his turn. I thought.
Oh, okay. It's his turn.
Right.
I'm just making sure you answered the previous question.
Yes, you did. Yes,
Okay.
I did.
What should the Cass County Commission be doing to protect ballot access for citizens voting in the county?
Do you want me to start?
Yes. Sorry.
In my opinion, the only thing is proper identification.
All right. Thank you. Ben?
All right, the question was, how is Cass County Commission going to protect ballot access for voters? Voting is a right that our democracy is based on. As Cass County Commissioner, I would do everything I could to help encourage education and just awareness in voters as to what they need to bring to the polls, where those polls are, and have some hands-on time. We have a new election coordinator now at Cass County. I want to be hands-on at the County Commission to make sure there is a uniform application of standards at each one of our voting locations. I almost said precincts, but we've moved away from those. And I would like to be in touch with the Secretary of State's office to get more education for election judges and poll workers, as we had some misappropriation or different standards being utilized in our June election, as we saw earlier this year. We're going to have a new Secretary of State. We don't know who that's going to be yet, but that is a new opportunity to provide that much more awareness and just basic voter education and civics to both poll workers and voters. So we should be reaching out to the new Secretary of State. We should be reaching out to the public. And that's my time.
Okay. Remember, you are allowed to finish your thought. Next question, start with you, Ben. Homelessness is a growing problem in the county. How can the Cass County Commission help alleviate this problem?
Homelessness is a growing problem in Cass County and Clay County, unfortunately. And I mentioned Clay County on purpose because at the end of the day, it's a river. There are neighbors and friends too. And I think the main thing we need to focus on is prevention from the kind of people that could find themselves falling into a place of homelessness. Being able to help them, again, with workforce issues, with mental health and substance abuse treatment programs here at Fargo Cast Public Health and otherwise, and reaching out and listening to both that population and the population that works in emergency shelters, that sees them every day and sees these problems and knows what's happening and why these rates are increasing. We have to work and talk with law enforcement, but we have to do it in a careful and respectful way. There's been some of the opposite of that going on the city commission, and I do not think it's becoming of elected officials. I'd want us to approach it in a thoughtful way that helps us make the trend go into a downward trend for the future.
Thank you. Dwayne?
When visiting with the people who manage the Cass County Jail, we've been informed that almost half of those people are repeat offenders. And these are fit into the homeless scheme that I believe exists in our community today. What the sheriff has done is initiated a program that's going to improve and increase the amount of training that residents of the Cass County Jail will receive so that they can have meaningful employment when they get out and no longer be homeless. That, I think, is a tremendous step, and it's going to be funded by the commission to the extent necessary. There is no question in my mind that programs of that nature are needed to address that problem.
Thank you. Starting with Dwayne, would you be willing to share your views on the marijuana legalization initiative that voters will decide in November?
I'm torn between both pro and con in that regard. I understand and realize that some of the users, excuse me, let me back up. There is a real need for medical marijuana, in my opinion. And I've been dealing with people within the county who've had the opportunity to utilize that with members of their family who were terminally ill. And I have a great deal of sympathy for that. And in that regard, I am very positive about medical marijuana. Otherwise, I'm still hesitant to make a support of the measure as it's presently written.
Thank you. Ben?
Thank you. I believe I'm going to be voting in favor of Measure 2. I voted against the previous legalization measure mainly due to some of the sloppiness with which it was written. Explicitly, there was no criminal penalties for driving under the influence, which I did not find to be acceptable. But currently, I feel like our neighboring states, are moving in a direction towards legalization. And it's simply hard for me, despite being a non-participant, if you will, in the subject at hand, to think that we need to have a prohibition on something when anyone here and anyone in our state over the age of 21 can walk into a liquor store and buy an unlimited amount of alcohol any day of the week. It's not a uniform application of standards, and criminal records for when the crime is victimless is not helping us, either workforce-wise or societally. It has to be done very carefully. There are different levels of THC. Not all marijuana is the same. So the devil's going to be in the details, but I do think it's time to move forward with that. And I do hope if it passes, the state legislature does not monkey around and overturn the will of the people as it did last time. That is entirely inappropriate.
Thank you to the candidates for answering these questions. We are already running out of our time. And so this will conclude our question and answer portions. And we'd like to thank all the candidates and the audience, both here in the hall and as well as at home. And if you'd like to learn more about these candidates, especially for those of you at home or later when you get home, please go to the League of Women Voters vote411.org website. We are partnering with Forum Communications on this voter's guides. It helps provide you, let you know what will be on your ballot, and questions are answered by candidates across races in the state. And these two candidates have answered questions. And so we hope you will use that access and do more. And now we will finish with closing statements. And I believe, Ben, you get to go first this time.
Thank you very much again to the League of Women Voters and for everybody who showed up here today to listen to a candidate forum, and for everybody watching at home. Local races are incredibly important, even if they don't always get the coverage that maybe they should. The Cass County Commission passed a $139 million budget for the year 2023. They help oversee and fund things like the FM diversion, Fargo Cass Public Health, work with the Sheriff's Office. And I, as your future commissioner, would look forward to working hard, showing up like I did here at this forum tonight, and listening to everybody that comes to our commission and treating them with the respect that they deserve as taxpayers. I'm a big believer in public service. I'm a very big believer in constituent services. I have a track record that's proven that, and I hope you'll consider voting for me on November 8th. Thank you so much.
Dwayne?
Thank you again. There is one item that I think should be very important to the League of Women Voters, and that's that during the primary election, there were over 5,000 ballots out who didn't bother to vote for the District 4 candidates, one way or the other. Now, I don't know if that was because of voter fatigue and we were at the very bottom of a very long ballot, or it may be that you don't understand that everyone in the county gets to vote for District 4. Everyone in the county. And they also get to vote, everyone in the county, for District 2. But obviously there must have been some people out there who did not understand that, and it's your job as the League of Women Voters to make that concept understood by the voters of Cass County.
Thank you, Dwayne. And thank you to both the candidates for not only participating tonight, but also for being candidates and being a part of our democracy. And let's everyone give them a round of applause. We'll take some time now and set up for our next forum from the Cass County Sheriff's candidates.